Well, this is quite interesting. Um, Maybe I will start over again. This will be a short show. Um, I just realized that I have been talking to myself and I have not um, recorded anything up to this point, so I'm going to start over again. All right, this time, screen share. Last time I forgot. Let's see. There. Okay, I'm going to optimize it. And okay. Welcome to Raising Happy Kids Zoom Show, episode 38, Harmonious Fathers. During this 1-hour Zoom show, I focus on sharing tips and lessons on the one rule to raising happy kids. Each episode has at least one example of the one rule in action, demonstrating how it helps you raise a happy child. Then we have Q&A and discussion. When I talk about raising happy kids or creating harmony with kids, I bring up the one rule. The one rule equals agreement. Agreement equals harmony. Using the one rule means you find agreement. That's the rule. You find a solution that everyone likes. You found agreement. You found harmony. Knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. In any situation where there are differences that might lead to conflict between you and your kids, use the one rule. I learned this strategy from 3-year-old children. I was teaching them a complex conflict resolution strategy actually intended for adults, and they taught me this. So don't think you're in for a rough time. It's simple, it's easy, it's powerful and effective. It works if you use it. I'm glad you are here. Now, let's stop screen share. Okay. All right. Before I started recording, I was explaining what I was going to do today. So I will do that, but very briefly. I'm going to share with you examples from the 3rd edition of my first book called Parenting for the New Millennium. And more than half the book is examples of how to interact harmoniously. And this was created by allowing situations to come into my mind and then responding to them in ways that I would have responded to them. Now these are the examples. I pulled them from the book. They are examples of fathers and how they could interact with their kids to have things go harmoniously. I considered very strongly not using the first one, but I've since changed my mind, because the term hate I don't really use anymore, but I guess I did in those days. So I am going to share these with you. Let's see. Okay. Now, maybe, okay. Why don't I do screen share? Then you can read along with me if you want to, or listen only if that's what you like. Okay, this was, see, I said all of this earlier, but it didn't get recorded. So, and I couldn't get onto Facebook Live, so I was just talking to myself. So, these examples are so that there are examples, because when I was writing the book, I couldn't think of examples of people besides myself that used this approach. Nowadays called positive. In those days, there wasn't that term, where punishment was not involved. In fact, once when I had an actual face-to-face meeting with Thomas Gordon, the originator of parent effectiveness training, he told me near the end of our discussion that I was the only one of his colleagues, besides his own daughter, who did not believe in punishment. And he certainly valued that, because he didn't himself, and his major life work was sharing information so that that wouldn't happen in children's lives. So, that's when I was writing the book, I wrote down all the information I could think of. I as I said before I got recording, I had not intended to write a book. I had intended to write, I don't know, information for people in my community. I had been invited to India to create community educational centers, and I decided before I could do that, I needed to share something that I felt I had learned about relating with children that other people hadn't. In those days, it was called, I called it the power of respect, because somebody asked me at a parent meeting, you know, what is this? And I'd also had a parent who had asked if I would write about this, so I could, so that other people could understand where I was coming from, because she liked it, but didn't know how to go about it. So anyway, so this was all tied in with what I was doing. So I started writing, and I wrote a bunch of information, and then this idea came to write examples. And I thought about where I lived and people and the interactions, and realized I couldn't pull from there, not easily anyway, because that's not how people related to their children. Even parents who weren't into punishment and controlling their children didn't have necessarily something that was a balancing relationship between them. That was pretty unique. So I decided I would just create my own examples. So I would think of situations, and then as the situation was unfolding in my mind, I would write that down and my response. So now these, in honor of my son, I am making, I pulled the examples using fathers. As I mentioned in the video earlier, where I was talking with myself, fathers' interactions with their sons are very important. I saw in my own life how important our son's, how his father related with him compared to how I related with him, and that it was critically important. And for some reason, I guess because I've been working with women a lot, I had kind of dismissed, because I never didn't, when, at least while I've been doing, most of the time that I've been doing this work, I hadn't thought in terms of not including fathers in this, even though my focus was on mothers and women. But recently I considered excluding them, but now I am very much including them. So that's why today's examples are harmonious fathers. So I think we'll do a screen share, and I'll pull up those stories that I pulled out. Okay, here we go. Share. Okay, here's the first story. And I was talking, I think I told you about, I considered not using this story because I use the word hate a lot in it, and I don't use that word anymore and haven't for many years. So, but I decided this morning, just as this show was on, to go ahead and do it. Okay, watching it work. That's a major section of my first book, Parenting for the New Millennium. In the following examples, the first situations concern families in transition toward being more respectful. The later ones deal with families whose members are in the habit of interacting respectfully. Okay. I hate you, Daddy. Don't talk to your father that way, young lady. I'd like to handle this, Missy. I want to try what I've been practicing in the class. Conrad took a few deep breaths to calm himself. It was always upsetting to hear his daughter say this. He walked over to Nan so they could have a private talk. You were mad at me, Nan? I hate you. Go away from me. Conrad feels the pain of the energy she has hurled at him. It hurts me when you say that, Nan. Would you tell, I hate you, don't be here, I'm glad it hurts you. Conrad sees that Nan is not at all open to him right now. Nan, I'm going to work in the shop. I hope we can talk about this later. He decides that she is too emotionally charged to relate to him, and he thinks that he might have more success later. He shakes his head at Missy, who is about to reprimand Nan. About an hour later, Conrad joins Nan out in the backyard. Can we talk about it now, Nan? Nan looks at her father suspiciously. Why are you being so nice? If you think you can make it up to me, you can't. Did I do something to hurt you? You promised. You promised to come to my class today. We waited and waited. The teacher didn't know what to do since she was planning to have you come and bring your scale models and talk about making buildings. It was the pits. After school, some of the kids were teasing me. I hated it. Nan, I'm very sorry. I must have written the wrong date on my calendar. I thought it was next month. I hope you can forgive me. I know you said I couldn't make it up to you, but I hope I can. I could come another day. That wouldn't be enough. You'd have to do something really great to get some of those boys to stop teasing me. Something really great, huh? Yeah, or they'll still think I have a flake for a father. A flake, huh? Yeah, that's what they were saying. And that you don't really care about me or you wouldn't have forgotten. They said that maybe I'm adopted and that's why you don't care very much. Am I adopted? No, sweetie, you were born to your mother and me, and I do care about you. I love you very, very much. I'm sorry those kids were so mean to you. You asked me why I'm so nice to you after you said you hated me. I'd like to tell you. I love you so much that I'm taking a class to learn how to be a respectful parent. I don't want to be bossy and mean anymore. So it's very important that I think of something really great to make up for today's mistake. What if we plan a day for me to come to your class and another day, soon, the whole class can come out to the building site. We'll give them the grand tour. They can even climb on the machines and see how they work. How does that sound? That sounds great. I don't think anyone will tease me after that. I'll write it on your calendar so you don't get the dates wrong. Are you really going to learn to be nice to me all the time? I'm doing my best to learn to treat you in ways that feel good to you and to me. What about Mom? Is she doing this too? No, but I think when she sees us having such a good time together, she will want to do it too. Daddy, I'm sorry I said I hated you. I don't really hate you. I was real mad. Those kids really hurt my feelings. I'm sorry you ever had to be afraid that I don't care about you. Sometimes when you won't listen to me, I think you don't care about me. I hope you never have to feel that again. I'll tell you every day how much I love you and how important you are to me, and I'll listen to you. I'll do my best. Okay, next example. Bedtime flex time. Dad, you said I could talk to you if you made me do things I don't like, and I don't like going to bed when it's still light outside. I'm glad you told me this, Jason, but we'll have to figure something out because it doesn't get dark until after 9:30, and that seems pretty late to me. You and Mom stay up later than that. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and you and Mom are still up. Anyway, I don't have school right now. Well, what would you like to do about it? I want to go to bed when I'm ready to. Well, one problem I see with this is that your mother and I need to spend some time alone together. We only have time to do this in the evenings when you're asleep. This is very important to us. Well, when you want to be alone, you could go in your room and close the door. Yes, I suppose we could, but usually we like to be in other parts of the house. We have a lot of things to do in the evenings. Oh, well, I could be in my room with the door closed, except for when you guys are in your room, and then I could be in other parts of the house. Well, that sounds okay, but I'm concerned that you might not get enough sleep. You are a growing and developing person. I've been taught that you grow when you're asleep. I promise I'll rest when I'm tired and I'll sleep when I'm sleepy. Well, Jason, it sounds like a good plan to me. Let's find out if your mother likes it. If she does, then we'll try it and have another meeting about it next week to see if we're all still happy with the arrangement. Oh, another thing, before school starts, we'll have to come to a different agreement, okay? Okay, as long as we still work things out so we all like it. I like it this way. So do I, Jason. I want to continue that too. Let's go find your mother. When children hit. Daddy, Michael hit me. Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry you got hit. Let me hold you. Dalen is determined not to give in to his first angry urge to punish Michael. He remembers that first his daughter needs comforting. He holds her and strokes her hair. He also remembers that there are always at least two sides to any story. I just want to get my Game Boy out of his room. I don't know if everyone knows about Game Boys, but they were very popular in those days. He's had it for a long time and I want to play with it. I didn't want to go out of his room until he gave me my Game Boy, so he hit me. Let's go talk with Michael. Dalen takes deep, slow breaths, inhaling and then being sure to exhale to calm himself as he walks slowly to Michael's room. He knocks on the door. Michael, we would like to talk with you. What do you want? Can we come in or would you join us out here? I can hear you through the door. I'd feel so much better if I could see you. I'm not going to hurt you. Dalen remembers to keep sharing his feelings and needs and to speak respectfully to his son. Okay, come in. Thanks, Michael. I need to tell you that it upsets me when you hit your sister. She hit me. Well, you didn't tell me that, Claire. I don't like you to hit him either. He wouldn't give me my toy. It's special. I don't like it when you hit each other to try to get what you want. You hit us. You're right, Michael. I used to hit you, and I'm very sorry I did. I thought it was the right thing to do. Now I know it was wrong, very wrong, and I promise never to do it again. Oh, all right. I guess I won't hit her anymore either. Here's your Game Boy, Claire. But don't come in my room without my permission. It really makes me mad. That's why I wouldn't give you your Game Boy. Okay, Michael, I won't come in your room without asking you. And Michael, I won't hit you either. We'll be a no-hitting family. Yes, Clara, that's exactly what we are. Thank you both for working this out so well. I think we have a great family, and I love you both. Cut the curfew. I called this family meeting because Dad said he wants me home by 9 on school nights and by 11 on the weekends. I think this needs to be worked out with the three of us so we all feel good about the decision. I don't feel good about Dad's decision. How would you like it to work, Clara? I want to be able to come home whenever I want. Well, Clara, I'm afraid that if I don't set some kind of curfew, you won't get enough sleep. That can cause lots of trouble. You could be tired in school and not be able to concentrate. You could get run down and sick. You could be a grouch to live with, maybe even worse. Well, if I'm home by 9 on school nights and 11 on the weekends, so that I get enough sleep, I don't want to have to do it because of some rule. I want to do it because I think it is the best thing for me to do. Well, it sounds good in theory, but I'm not really sure. I'm not sure it's really going to work out satisfactorily. Dad, you have to trust me. I'm growing up and I need you to trust me. I'll let you know where I am when I'm not home, but I don't want a curfew. Dennis, that's just what we were talking about last night. An area of weakness in our being a respectful family. We need to trust each other. Yeah, I see what you mean. You're right, Clara. I do need to trust you. It's just hard for me not to worry about you. But you're right, that won't help anything. Since I'm not going to ride in your pocket, I have to trust you. Okay, I think I can live with you not having a curfew, but I really need you to keep in touch with us when you're not at home and let us know where we can reach you. See, in those days, folks, there weren't individual phones, well, hardly any anyway. And so now that probably wouldn't be such a big problem. There would be a way to connect. There might be times when I can't reach you to let you know. Just do your best, Clara. That's usually good enough. That's when we get extra practice in trusting. That's right, Mom. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. I'm going over to Lorene's. Her number is in the back of our phone book. I finished my homework. I won't be back late. Dennis speaks up. Just a minute. Let's have another meeting next week so we can check on how this is going for all of us. Dennis, I think 1 week isn't long enough to give this thing a try. Let's make it 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. Take care of yourself, Clara. Don't worry, Dad. See you soon. Taking care of each other. Gordon has just come home from work. In an hour, he has to go out again to a meeting. He asked his sons to have dinner ready so he could have a little time to rest. He's really looking forward to the enchilada casserole. There is no one in the kitchen. The oven is not on. There is no delicious smell of enchilada casserole. Gordon finds the boys in Raven's room playing Nintendo. Hi, Dad. How was your day? Well, except for not coming home to enchilada casserole, it was fine. Though I am a little tired. The boys look at him with blank expressions. Remember, you agreed to have dinner ready when I got home tonight? I have a meeting and I want to be able to rest a little. Oh, we thought the casserole was for Thursday, your regular meeting night, not tonight. Well, there goes my rest. Let's get busy with dinner. We'll have to work fast if I'm going to get out of here on time. We also have to decide what to make for dinner. No, Dad, you need the rest. Sage and I can make dinner. We'll make burritos. That will be quick and we have all the ingredients. Thanks, boys. You are so thoughtful and give me so much help. I don't know what I'd do without you. I just had a thought. If there are things I would like you to do, would you like me to write the instructions down clearly? Then maybe we can avoid misunderstandings like this. Sure, Dad. Maybe we could write down all the things we each agree to. Then we'll be sure we understand what we've said we'll do, and it will help us not to forget. Yeah, let's write down now that Raven and I will make enchilada casserole and salad before you get home from work on Thursday. Good idea. And I'll write that I have to have the ingredients in the house before that. Now, in this section of the examples, I write little paragraphs summing what what was going on. Gordon was not pleased with the situation that he came home to, but he was sure that there was some reasonable explanation. He let the boys know what he needed when he realized the situation was due to a misunderstanding and perhaps a lack of communication. He decided to get on with it. The boys took the initiative to make sure his needs were met. He would get his rest, his dinner, and even his enchilada casserole, though not exactly as he expected. The family also took this opportunity to begin a new practice that can help them avoid such mix-ups in the future. Errands with baby. It's been a busy morning, so many errands to do. One advantage of living in a small town is that all the shops are within easy walking distance. Terry had been so patient, content to sit in her stroller and watch life unfold. Of course, the snacks and juice her father Dean brought along have helped a lot. When they stop in front of a pet store so that her father can chat with one of his friends, Terry starts to climb out of her stroller. She has never belted in anymore since she started crying every time her parents tried to fasten the belt. Dean notices what she's doing. Terry, we're not done with our errands yet. Please get back in your stroller. He bends over to help her in. Terry twists to avoid getting in and leans away from the stroller. Out, out. Dean lets go of her. She's been very cooperative this morning. I guess I have to follow her good example and be a good cooperative example myself, he said to his friend. Terry runs over to look at the puppies in the window. Her father moves close to her as he continues to talk with his friend. Then his friend leaves. Okay, Terry, let's go. Terry runs in through the open door of the store. Inside, there are kittens, more puppies, birds, mice, rats, hamsters, fish, and bunnies. Daddy, Daddy, look! Her father sees the delight and wonder on her face. He still has a couple of errands to do before they head home. He has a lot of editing to do that afternoon before his article is ready to mail. He watches the concentration on his daughter's face as she watches the mice scurry around their mouse house. This, as you can tell, was before we all had computers and internet and emails. Otherwise, he could email off his article. Get there fast. Okay, what's another 5 minutes or even 15? Even half an hour wouldn't really be a problem. Let her have her errand too. After 10 minutes, Terry comes over to her father. Up, Daddy. I hungry. I tired. No stroller. Just a second, Terry. He puts his packages in the stroller, then picks up his daughter. She hugs him and snuggles her face against his neck. We don't have any more snacks with us, but let's get you an apple at the corner. Then I have 2 more stops and we can go home and have lunch. It feels so good to hold this sweet, loving child, to have her trust and affection. At the corner, Terry picks out the apple she wants. Her father gives her the money to pay for it. Climb into your stroller and I'll cut up this apple for you. After she's settled with her thinly cut apple slices. Let's go. You can help me with my last 2 errands. Oh, look at all the flowers. He is hoping that the apple, his conversation involving her in the errands will be enough to keep her awake until after lunch. Then it would be great if she took a nice long nap. Okay, I'm going to try and get one more story in. This is actually one of my favorites. Traveling with a crawler. Everything and everyone is packed into the car except Dylan and Amanda, the mother of the family. Dylan is 8 months old and has just started crawling. He's been crawling from room to room since he got up this morning, watching everyone else get ready to go, exploring whatever anyone would let him explore. Amanda goes to Dylan and shows him his travel cup with juice in it. She bends down to pick him up. Come on, Dylan, it's time to go. Would you like some juice? Dylan sits up and reaches up to her and the cup. She picks him up and hands him the cup. He drinks thirstily as she carries him out to the car. When she starts to put him in his car seat, he arches his body, lets his cup fall to the ground, and cries out his protest. Oh no, says his sister Violet, who had all his things ready for the trip. She was going to be his caretaker in the back seat. His brother Kevin groans. His mother holds Dylan and comforts him. It's okay, Dylan. We'll work this out. Don't worry. But Mommy has to be in the car seat. It's the law. Yes, I know, but we have to work something out that works for him too. Can you imagine 7 hours in a car with him screaming every waking moment? I could not do that. Don't worry, Mom. We would hate it too, says Kevin. I think we better have a family meeting about this, says Patrick, the dad. I'm going to let Dylan crawl out here, so maybe we should have our meeting on the grass, suggested Amanda. I know that most of us are ready to go, she says, and that we've worked hard to get packed. I realized it might be a little disappointing not to drive right now, but I don't see how we can. Remember, we have a month of vacation coming up, and I propose that we only drive when Dylan is sleeping or content to be in his car seat. What do you all think of that? I think it's workable, even if it takes us 2 or 3 days to get to the campground. Of course, we could drive at night. That way we'd be sure to be there by tomorrow. But Dad, I don't want to drive at night. I like to see where we're going, and I don't like to sleep sitting up in the car. It was just a suggestion, not something we have to do. I like to see where we're going too. Do you think Dylan is going to sleep soon, Mom? Probably within an hour, maybe 2. This crawling is very exciting for him, but it tires him out too. I want to go over to Meadow's house. She said she was going to be home this morning, and I'm sure she'd be glad to see me, says Violet. That sounds fine to me. Why don't you call her and check it out? Kevin, I'd really like to get out the topo maps and show you some of the hikes I'm planning. Maybe we can decide on one just for the 2 of us, said Patrick. That sounds great, Dad. Mom, Dad, Meadow is really excited. I'm going over right now. Call me when it's time to go. Okay, we'll call you, then we'll pick you up. Have fun. Patrick, I just love it when we all work together so well, respecting each other and making the best of what comes along, said Amanda. Me too, sweetheart, me too. And before long, Dylan will be right in there with the rest of us. That's just what I was thinking. Okay, folks, that's the end of it for today. I wish you all a wonderful week and loving, harmonious relationships with all the kids in your life. Bye for now.